Et salut à tous, on se retrouve aujourd'hui sur une nouvelle série sur le jeu The Stanley Parable. Alors, qu'est-ce que c'est? Il s'agit d'un jeu aventure, exploration, qui va nous demander de résoudre des énigmes, mais dans un univers un petit peu surréaliste. Ce jeu, on me l'a proposé lorsque j'étais sur Superliminal et que je disais « S'il vous plaît, donnez-moi des jeux dans cette veine, j'aime bien » et c'est celui qui est ressorti à plusieurs reprises. Donc j'ai testé la démo qui est disponible sur Steam et j'ai plutôt accroché, donc j'espère que ce sera le cas pour vous aussi. Sachez que si ça vous intéresse, vous pouvez vous aussi tester la démo, elle est gratuite. Et si jamais vous accrochez, vous pouvez prendre le jeu. Actuellement, il est à 12€ hors promo, il me semble. Je sais pas si ça vaut le prix ou pas, mais apparemment, il a l'air assez bien, donc je dirais que oui. Il me semble que je l'ai eu un peu moins cher parce que je l'ai pris pendant les soldes de Steam. Mais je saurais plus vous dire le prix. Bref, on va essayer de se lancer. Normalement, les dialogues sont en anglais, mais vous aurez les sous-titres en français et tout ce qui est menu, etc. Comme ça, on est sur du français aussi, donc normalement, pas de problème pour suivre.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ok, c'est à nous. Donc on est en... Oh, fichtre. On est en ZQSD, mais comme mon clavier est un averti par défaut, il va falloir que je change mes touches. Ou alors que j'avance que sur la droite, ce qui risque de ne pas être très pratique. Alors, option, clavier souris, modifier les touches. Tac, tac, tac. Non, faut que je double... Ah, ok, Z, S, Q, D. Contrôle. Bon, le reste on va laisser, normalement ça devrait le faire. On va voir. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Ok, je ne sais pas. Ah oui, c'est mieux. Bon, par contre, il est monté sur patin. Ok, je peux me déplacer, mais je ne peux pas interagir avec les choses. J'ai pas de curseur en fait qui me permet de savoir où est l'interaction, s'il y en a une. Shift ne me permet pas d'être... Oh, par contre, contrôle me permet de m'accroupir.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Attendez, donc là on est sur 422, 424, 425 et 426. Ok. Est-ce que je peux... Ok, je peux pas bouger la porte.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Est-ce que je suis ce que le jeu me dit? Allez, On va suivre. Alors, astuce pour ne
Yet
pas
there
être
was not a
viré.
single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Comment résoudre une dispute? Comment utiliser des diapos pour laisser penser aux employés que tout est ok, que tout va bien. Broom closet, d'accord.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Ça me
office.
paraît cohérent. Le patron, il doit être au dernier étage. Comme ça, s'il y a le feu, c'est lui qui meurt c'est lui qui va mourir. Bathroom, d'accord. Donc ça, c'est les toilettes du patron. Ah ouais, c'est cosy.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Je veux voir si c'est vraiment vrai.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ok. Bon, faut que je fasse un peu plus confiance à la petite voix. Oh!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
C'est très marrant. Je déplore un peu le fait qu'on ne puisse pas sprinter ni sauter.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me.
Quoi?
You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now. Be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time.
Mais oui, mais je veux pas recommencer le jeu, moi. Ok. Alors... Je pense que j'ai pas le choix, en fait. Allez. Ok, on va essayer de faire un peu moins
All
de
of his
bêtises.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
J'aime bien, c'est amusant. Oui, mais j'aimerais bien avancer quand même.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Ok, cette fois on fait bien.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
C'est bon, j'ai appuyé 5 fois. Là c'est 3. On va essayer de le faire dans l'ordre. Quoi, toudoum? Non, c'est le bon bruit, hein. Enfin, c'est le bon bruit, c'est le bon bouton, donc ça devrait être le bon bruit. 1, 4, 2. C'est peut-être ça qu'il faut taper. 1, 4, 2. Bon, écoutez, je sais pas. Donc, on va continuer.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Blackness. And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ok. Et je suis de retour là?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
J'ai un peu l'impression de recommencer ce que j'ai déjà fait.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ok, on va faire ce qu'il dit.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ah bah ça s'est fermé derrière. Non, moi je descends. Je sais pas trop ce que le jeu attend
But
de moi.
Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Mais t'es sûr?
No, this isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Mais...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley, let's find the story.
Eh bah dis donc, ça en fait des salles à explorer. Eh bien écoutez, je vous propose qu'on choisisse une salle pour le prochain épisode. Je vous laisse me dire. Salle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ou 6. Voilà, vous me dites salle 1 à 6 et j'irai par là-bas pour le prochain épisode. Bon, et ben j'espère que cette petite série vous plaît. Je dois avouer que je suis un peu décontenancée, je sais pas ce que le jeu attend.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Non. Ah. Bon, bah écoutez, on démarre d'ici. Peut-être qu'il y aura encore les salles. Dites toujours si ça vous intéresse de participer à mon avancement dans l'aventure. En tout cas, on se retrouve dans 2 jours pour essayer de comprendre ce qu'il faut faire dans ce jeu bizarre. J'espère que vous appréciez quand même les vidéos. D'ici là, portez-vous bien. Ciao, bye bye.